Welcome to the February 2025 WMN Live. We are beyond excited to have you all here for another empowering session. Today, we are diving into a topic that is transforming the way that we work, the way that we lead, and innovate. AI in the mortgage and real estate industry is an AI advantage. And who better than to guide us than the incredible Megan Anderson? Megan is a leading expert in AI solutions, specializing in strategies designed to empower mortgage and real estate professionals. With a track record of training over 10,000 loan officers, she has become a go-to resource for AI-driven assessments, personalized training programs, and market analysis that drive efficiency, insights, and competitive advantage. Her expertise lies in seamlessly integrating AI technologies that enhance business operations, optimize team performance, and position organizations for success in a rapidly evolving landscape. So if you've ever wondered how AI can take your business to the next level, you're in the right place today. So get ready for an insightful conversation and training filled with actionable takeaways that are going to help you leverage AI like never before. Welcome, Megan.
Wow, Laura, that was the best intro I think anyone has ever given me. Thank you so much. That got me pumped up. And I hope that it got each and every one of you pumped up to learn about AI as well. My goal here by the end of today's session is to get you more comfortable with utilizing AI because let's be honest, it's not going anywhere. And we are at the point in time where we are on the cutting edge of this. We can learn AI and learn how to use it in our business. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to share my screen here and walk you all through how to get the AI advantage. So first off, what is artificial intelligence? And unless you've been living under a rock, you have heard of AI. I mean, you cannot turn on any news channel right now, listen to any earnings calls, and not hear about AI. But in basic terms, AI is essentially where we give machines and technology the ability to perform what we once thought of as human tasks. And it's pretty dang good at it. Now, many of you, I'm sure, out there listening to this right now, you're kind of in a spot where I was. When I first started learning about AI, I was like, what exactly is this? Even today, with everything going on, we don't fully really understand it, especially if you don't come from a background of, computers and coding and all of that. It can be a little bit challenging to really understand what this AI technology is. And there's so many different platforms hitting the market every single day that can help you solve solutions. So it can be quite challenging to kind of dive in and very easy to get overwhelmed. So I want you to think about it like this. All these different AI platforms out there, whether it's ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, OpusClip, HeyGen, all these different AI platforms, right? Essentially, at the end of the day, they all have a particular mask on them. They're all kind of the same technology, but they're built in a way for us to understand them a bit more by putting on a mask. So we're going to be diving into ChatGPT specifically quite a bit today. And if you go to ChatGPT, and if you haven't yet, I encourage you to, but if you go there and you ask it to, let's say, write you an email to follow up with everyone that attended the open house over the weekend, well, its mask that is on the platform just right out of the box is kind of like your friendly assistant, that assistant that is waiting for you to tell them what to do. They're always going to have a positive attitude and they're there to get it done. But that's not the mask that we always want it to wear, right? Because a lot of us listening right now, we're brokers, right? So that might be the mask that we want it to wear. And it depends on what this AI technology is helping you with. And that's going to dictate what mask it is that you ultimately want to wear. And we're going to get into that later here today when we talk about prompting, because the better that you can communicate with the AI technology, the better output that you're going to get. Now, again, I told you we are going to be diving into ChatGPT. So if you haven't yet, what I want you to do is I want you to go to the App Store on your phone or pull up another web browser, and I want you to go to ChatGPT. Okay, you are going to download this. Now, there are different versions, and we will walk over what those mean. But everything that we're going to complete here today on this call can be done on the free version. So again, make sure that you get in here and you download this right now. It is going to help. You can follow along through this, through the different exercises that we do. And also, it's just going to keep you consistent with ultimately utilizing this and playing around with it. The way that you get to learn how to use these AI platforms is by consistency at the end of the day. Now, when we think about AI, it feels like it's this relatively new thing out there, right? It's just been the past couple of years that we've been hearing nonstop about AI. But in fact, AI technology has been around for quite some time. In fact, back in 2019, Google had Google's Project Euphoria. And I'll be honest, I get a little teary-eyed when I talk about this because growing up, my grandma had Lou Gehrig's disease. And it was so sad because I could tell that her mind was there. Her mind was sharp, but she had lost all motor control function. And imagine, I want you to imagine right now that you get really sick, but your mind is there. But you're unable to tell your loved ones that you love them. You're unable to have a conversation with them again. And it's really quite impactful seeing what this AI technology can do in the healthcare space. And I think within the mortgage and real estate realm, we're kind of just at that point where we're starting to learn and understand where we can implement this technology. But bottom line is, it's pretty incredible and it has been around for quite a while. Now, I mentioned back in 2019 with Google's Project Euphoria, but it's been around even longer than that. We have to go back all the way to the 1950s. That's where the birth of this AI technology was formulated. And it was formulated at a conference of like-minded individuals sitting around. What are we going to call this? Right. And that's where the term AI came around. Then we have the 1960s. That's where the first development of the first AI programs came into play. Then it developed even further into the 1990s. That's where AI applications started to do data mining, right? Looking at patterns where they can extract insights from these large data sets. But it wasn't until the 2000s that we actually started adopting AI technology without us actually correlating it to being AI technology. This is where we had a breakthrough in deep learning, and it's where it became more prevalent in everyday technology. Now, I'm not going to say this too loud, but all the hey Siris, hey Alexas out there, oh, I set off the phone. Sorry if I set yours off as well. But that is where we started to use this AI technology without us even knowing it. And I don't know about you guys, but it started to pop up on my phone too. I would be getting in the car and all of a sudden it would be like, you have 12 minutes to get home. That's how long it's going to take you. And I'm like, I didn't tell it I wanted to go home, right? It was analyzing my behavior over time. But then we have 2022. That's when everything really got real because that is when ChatGPT launched to the public. And then here we are today. But let's talk about where AI is currently being used specifically when it comes to our industry in real estate. So right now it's being used for automated underwriting. It can get it done quicker with not so many bodies on the team as well. Now, marketing is where I get really excited about it. And we are going to specifically focus on marketing because, listen, I know at the end of the day, your main job, brokers that are listening here today on this call, your main job is not marketing, but you have to do it, right? It's part of your business process. And for many of you, and I've been in the same boat as well, our consistency tends to lack when we're busy, right? It's really easy to do our marketing when things are a little bit slower, but when things are busy, that marketing aspect takes a hit. And this is where AI can really come through and shine and help us. And then market analysis. Many of you guys know me from MBS Highway, where we analyze the financial markets and advise you guys when to lock and float. And I get really excited about how AI technology can be utilized in the market analysis side of things as well. But let's see what the big people out there are ultimately saying about AI. Here we have the CEO of Google, and he said, AI is one of the most profound things we're working on as humanity. It's more profound than fire or electricity. It's more profound than fire and electricity. That is a bold statement. Then we have the CEO of NVIDIA saying AI is the most powerful technology force of our time. And I got to say, I 100% agree with this quote. And then we have the CEO of OpenAI. This is ChatGPT. This is what we're going to dive into today, Sam Altman. He said, AI is the most important transition in human history. I don't know about in human history, but I think in our lifetime, this is going to be the most important transition. And so we have the opportunity right now to begin learning this AI technology and incorporating it to ultimately help us. And I'm really passionate with teaching you all about AI technology and how to utilize it, because at the end of the day, we have to start to think about it like a tool in our toolbox. And the whole point of utilizing AI is so that we can get back to the things that AI is never going to be able to do. We can get back to collectively enjoying this shared human experience. I want you guys on the call to be able to actually put your phone away and sit down and be present with your family for dinner. I want you to not feel guilty about going out and taking a walk. But oftentimes in this job, with how busy we are and our success riding on the fact if we pick up our phone or not and get all of this done in the second that it happens, it can be challenging to do that. And so let's break through and let's see how AI can ultimately help us get back to actually enjoying this human experience. I love this quote by Robert Greene. He says, "The future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways." Team, this is what you have to think about when it comes to AI. So I've been traveling around speaking about AI for a while now, and I tend to find that there are two kind of camps of people, right? There are the people that are really curious about utilizing AI. They're open to it. Many of you on this call, I'm sure the majority of you land in that camp. But then there's another camp that kind of is, I don't trust it. I don't know. I'm hesitant to want to learn it. I'm apprehensive. At the end of the day, this technology is here and it's here to stay, and it is changing things very rapidly. Laura and I were just talking on here in the green room prior to this call how different it is, our jobs and how we get everything completed nowadays versus even just a year ago. AI has become a tool in our toolbox that we've used to combine in creative ways to ultimately help us be more productive. And if you think that you're going to be in this industry and get away without utilizing AI, take a look at this article from JP Morgan saying that every new hire will get training on AI. And, also in the green room, we were talking a little bit as well, and we all kind of agree that AI is not going to replace you, but someone that utilizes AI is going to replace you. But right now, again, we have the ability to begin incorporating and using AI. And honestly, why would you not want to? Let's take a look at a Harvard study. So here they studied individuals that were using AI versus those that weren't using AI. And if you were using AI, 12.2% completed more tasks. So they got more done. Oh, and they got it done more quickly. 25.1% completed tasks more quickly. And then 40% higher quality. Why would you not want to use AI if it can help you get more tasks done, get them done more quickly, and at a higher quality? Right? And so we're going to begin to think about how we can start to uncover where we can use AI to become more productive. And it's a really simple process. It's 4 steps. The first thing that we need to do is we need to identify our business processes and our pain points. If you're listening to this call right now, what I want you to do, or the recording, I want you to pause this video. I want you to take out a piece of paper and I want you to just mind dump right now. Mind dump every business process that you have. What do you do on a daily basis? What do you do on a weekly basis? What about quarterly? Write all of those down. Maybe it's, I got to market, right? I got to prospect. I got to build relationships. I got to do cold calling, whatever it is. I want you to write down every single business process that you do. And then what I want you to do is I want you to start to dive into the pain points. And this is going to be a fun task for you because as humans, we really love to complain. So let's say that one of your business processes is marketing. And I'll be honest with you guys, one of my challenges is I love doing calls like this. I also love interviewing people. At MBS Highway, we have people on for a live monthly webinar where, I love those. I love sitting down, interviewing them. But then it comes to after the video, where in order to leverage it, you got to chop it up into little short, little micro content pieces for Instagram, right? We got to get those reels going. And I'm not that great at that. It honestly got to the point where it was like, either someone is going to have to do this for me, or it's not going to get done, or I'm going to have to find an AI solution. So once I discovered that pain point, then I moved to step number 2, and that's to evaluate and research AI solutions. And don't worry, I do this for you. If you have a question about a problem that you're trying to solve, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. But ultimately, I had to start researching. So I'm looking around, and I come across this platform called Opus Clip, which essentially can take long form content. So all I had to do was upload that hour-long interview. And what is it going to do? It's going to chop it into micro content for me. It's going to pull in the B-roll. It's going to pull in the captions. Yes, it needed a little bit of editing, but not very much. It even gave me a virality score for each of the clips that it ultimately ended up cutting. So it took something that either wasn't going to get done at all, and it made it happen on a consistent basis. And you know what else it saved? That little complainer voice inside of my head that was trying to pep talk me into, okay, you just got to get in. You got to just play and write down the little clips on this video. You're going to get in. You're going to get this done. It's going to be okay. Right? I didn't have to go through that any process. It became such an enjoyable experience. And then we were able to better leverage and gain more traction and get more listeners when it came to our webinars that we were hosting. And so that's what I want for each and every one of you. So I found a solution. Then the third step is to come in and assess readiness and pilot. So in this case, in order for me to actually use this AI solution to create micro content, I had to have everything. And that really wasn't much. All I needed was the hour-long interview, right? I just had to upload that, and then the rest was done for me. But in certain instances where you're trying to incorporate AI, you might need more than that. And I kind of equate this to a CRM platform, right? How CRM platforms are amazing, but if you don't have a database to upload to that CRM platform, how effective is that going to be? Not very effective. Okay. So I had the hour-long interview. I had everything ready to go. So then I began piloting it, right? That's just where I started to create the micro clips. And then from there, after that, you scale and you optimize. And that is just the 4-step solution to analyzing where you can use AI in your business. So again, you're going to go through, you're going to list your core processes. What are those things that you are doing? It's also really helpful to label them as, is this kind of a one-off task or is this repetitive? Because generally speaking, if it's a repetitive task, that's really a great kind of light bulb moment that maybe AI can come in and ultimately help me with this. So you're going to list your core processes. You're going to identify those pain points, right? We did that. We determined that marketing was quite a challenge for us. And let's do another example here in this scenario. So again, marketing is a challenge for us, but in this instance, maybe it's not so much, my problem of taking long form content and chopping it up into short micro content. It's more just consistency. And if you've struggled with consistency, I want you to know you are not alone. I think that is the number one challenge when it comes to people being active on social media and generating leads and revenue through social media. But it's important to be consistent because what it does is you can think of the algorithm as kind of like a spigot on the side of your house, right? When you go and you start turning it on, well, it's similar to if you keep posting and keep posting and keep posting, it's turning that spigot up even higher so that the platform is showing your content to more people. And again, we're getting a greater reach that way and we're generating more leads. But we have to be consistent to do that. So how do you do that? Well, then we go and we research AI solutions. And in this solution, we are going to use a combination of Canva and ChatGPT. Now, for those of you that have never heard of Canva, you can sign up for a free account for this. It is a great platform to ultimately get in and create static and video. You can create video in there as well for all of your social media endeavors. You can store in, your hex codes, your fonts, everything like that, so you can keep your branding structured and similar, which is also very important when it comes to social media and branding yourself as well. So we have our solution here. It's going to be Canva and ChatGPT. This is where we are now going to dive into ChatGPT. And I will share this live at the end of this video if we do have some time. Regardless, though, don't worry about taking pictures of this. I will share with you how you can get everything so that you can just sit there and copy and paste versus having to retype this out. So we're going to go into ChatGPT and we are going to give it a prompt. And we will dive into kind of the anatomy of this prompt because it matters in getting the proper output. But right now, we're just going to go over this. So you're a loan officer. This is the mask we're putting on it. Remember, you are a loan officer who is humble, professional, and funny. Now, you can change those. What is your tone of voice, right? Now, your main objective, and good thing it doesn't care about my spelling errors because I got to tell you, I have a lot of them. Your main objective is to create social media content to build your brand and generate leads. Create 10 home buying tips for first-time home buyers. And in a matter of a second, it's going to give me 10 home buying tips for first-time home buyers. Now, here's the thing, team. You need to read through this. Okay? Anything that comes out on these AI platforms, ChatGPT, Gemini, DeepSeek, whatever it is that you are utilizing, please read through it. Don't just copy and paste this without reading through it. That is lazy and it's not always perfect. And we will dive into that as well on why that's the case. But I read through this and let's say I'm like, you know what? I don't like number 2. If I didn't like it, I could say, this is great, but I don't like number 2. Can you provide some other solutions? Once you get it to where you like the 10 home buying tips that it's giving you, the next step is to make your life easier. And we're going to say, great, can you put this in a table format? It's going to put it in a table format. And then from there, I'm going to simply copy and paste this into an Excel document, which I know all of you are so familiar with Excel. And then you are going to save it as a CSV file. And then you're done with that. Next, what you're going to do is you are going to open up Canva. And they have done for you templates in Canva. And again, I will share this with us live at the end of this presentation. But you're going to pick a template that you like. And essentially, you just upload the CSV file and attach the data. And with a matter of a couple clicks, now you're going to have 10 pieces of content that is going to help you stay consistent when it comes to social media. Now, another thing that I want to share with you guys how to do, because this is honestly challenging for me. I'm really good at being behind video and talking about something that I'm passionate about for an hour at a time. But if you tell me, oh, you need to tell me the benefits of buying versus renting. Oh, and you have 15 seconds, right? All this short form content, man, it is so challenging to get something impactful and punchy in this short video script. And so I love using ChatGPT to help with this. And what I want to share with you now is how you can turn any article into a video script. First things first, you're going to want to use an article that you trust. One thing I might recommend on MBS Highway, we have a blog that you can trust, I tell you. But any article that you read that you're like, wow, this would make a great video script, you can use these prompts to help. Now, this is a 3-step prompt. And what we're going to first do is we're going to go into ChatGPT and we are going to say, I am a, again, you're going to put on the mask by putting in your job title here, trying to grow my social media by creating short, compelling videos. I'm going to provide you a source text. Do not perform any action until asked. Please let me know that you understand. I love these last 2 lines because if you don't tell it not to do something, it's going to try and do something and complete some task. But by telling it not to perform anything, it just gives you a little bit more time to get all the data together as well. So then we have prompt number 2 here. We're going to say, here's the source text. Please don't perform any tasks. Just let me know once you've received and are ready for further direction. And you could combine all of these in one prompt, but they kind of build upon each other. The last prompt here that we're going to give it is, using the provided source text, write a script for an educational and informative 45-second video. Again, you could change this. Maybe you want it to be educational but funny. Whatever your personality is, and maybe you want it to be, 60 seconds or 15 seconds, whatever the case may be. Keep in mind that the video script will be read out loud, not shown on the screen. And this is the most important thing. The script should follow this format. If you go and you take a look, and I recommend that you do this, set your watch for 10, 15 minutes, and be active with a purpose when you go into social media. And I want you to just look at all the viral content out there. The majority of the viral content is going to follow this format. First and foremost, it's going to hook you in. It's going to hook the viewer into watching that video. Within the first couple seconds, your target audience needs to know that this video is for them. So if I'm a first-time home buyer, in a matter of a couple seconds of your video, I should know that this video is for me. You're hooking me in, right? It might be something like, have you been wanting to buy a home? Yes, I have, right? It's attaching, it's hooking in my target audience. Then we're going to go into discussing the problem. We're going to provide a solution. And then last but not least, we're going to have the call to action. And that is simply the next step that you want them to take. So I did this and I plugged in and I used an MBS Highway blog article to do this. And this is what it came out with. Hey there, future homeowners. Did you know that first-time homebuyers are making a strong comeback? In April, 33% of home sales were first-time buyers, the highest since January 2021. So it's going through the problem. It's going to pull in a solution, and then it's going to ultimately have the call to action. This makes it so much easier to create video scripts when it comes to social media team. And I told you I was going to let you know how to get these step by step so that you can copy and paste them. And to do that, all that you need to do is text Megan, MEGAN, to 33777. Again, just text Megan, no H in there, MEGAN, to 33777. And you'll notice, what is this right here? This is my call to action, everybody. So your call to action can be anything. And I do want to bring this up really quick because people always get hesitant to put that call to action because it feels salesy. It feels pushy, right? But here it doesn't, because what am I doing? I'm providing you value at the end of the day. And you can think about the call to action like that. It could be anything. It could be, comment refi below, and then maybe you reach out to them. It could be to, book a call with you, send you an email, tag a first-time home buyer or someone that would find your video beneficial. It doesn't have to be salesy. And if it doesn't feel right for you, put on a different call to action. But remember, it's not about really getting that sale. It's about how can I provide value and how do I direct them to the next step? That's the way that we need to be thinking about it. So again, my call to action is to text Megan to 33777. Now, another thing that we can use AI for is to improve the customer experience. And we can do that through a variety of ways. One, if you have downloaded ChatGPT, one thing that I really love, and I don't really do business with people that don't speak English too much. I travel to places though where they don't speak English, but many of you, you might have the person that speaks Spanish in the office, but you might not speak Spanish. If that translator isn't there, how much does that impact the customer experience? A lot. It makes it quite challenging for both sides, right? So what you can do with ChatGPT is you can go in there and you can say, whenever you hear English, I want you to translate it to Spanish. And whenever you hear Spanish, I want you to translate it to English. And then basically in real time, you can be sitting there having a conversation with that client. And that's going to greatly improve the customer experience. But another way that I get really excited about you guys improving the customer experience is by cloning yourself and creating your AI twin. So here is my AI twin, and let's check her out. David, welcome to our home loan process. In this short video, how incredible is that? So you can have these ultimately set up where it goes out depending on where that client is in the sales process. Maybe they submit their pre-qual, whatever the case may be, a video goes out every step of the transaction. And the best part is you didn't have to get behind a camera to do it. Now, I've also played around with using my AI twin to create short form content. And I will tell you, when I take a look at the numbers, I was quite surprised. I thought it would impact my reach on the videos. Doesn't impact the reach in my case anyways. It didn't impact the reach. In fact, most of my AI twin videos had more views and more engagement than the ones that I wasn't in. So definitely take a look at utilizing and creating your AI twin or your AI clone. Everything that we've walked over here so far today, though, it included a prompt, right? A set of instructions that we gave to ChatGPT. And it's so important to understand that, because the better that you can get at crafting these prompts, the better output that you're going to get. And to be honest, the more that you begin to use ChatGPT, and you go through that analyzing your business, right? What are these repetitive tasks? What are my pain points? What are my business processes? The more you'll understand how important it is to have these prompts. For example, myself, right? We come out with a podcast episode every Wednesday. And I have prompts now. For a while, it was every time I was getting into ChatGPT, rewriting the prompt. And then over time, I was like, okay, I need just to create one document of the prompts that I use on a consistent basis. So I have consistent prompts for generating the write-up, the summary, coming up with title options. And so that way, I just go to the document, I copy and paste it into ChatGPT, and I get a good quality output every single time versus it being slightly different because I'm not using the same prompt, right? But it's important for us to understand how to craft these prompts to get those quality outputs. So let's break it down. Again, what is a prompt? Well, it's basically a set of instructions or guidelines that you're giving the large language model, in this case, ChatGPT. And there's different prompt types. So there can be questions that might be like, what are some common questions that first-time home buyers have? Then there's statements where it's, I'm interested in learning more about what drives mortgage rates. Or there might be a sequence of instructions. This is kind of like what we did with Canva, where it was a 3-step prompt exercise. And then there's different elements of a prompt. There's 6 different elements to a prompt. We are going to cover the first 2 today, but all in all, the 6 elements of a prompt are context, or again, that mask that we want it to wear. You are a loan officer. You are a real estate agent. Then we have the task definition. We also have examples, expected behavior, what is considered good, and the expected steps. Now, the first 2 that we're going to cover here today, you have to have these in order to get a quality output. So again, the first one here is the context. This is ultimately the background setting, and it is the mask that you want the AI or large language model to wear. And if you use this, you'll have basically everything that you need for this part. Act as a loan officer, real estate agent, whatever it is, who is, plug in your tone of voice, who is funny, who is educational, who is professional, and their primary goal to create more leads on social media, to be consistent with social media, to get more first-time home buyers, whatever it is. If you have these elements, you'll have everything that you need for the context. So again, let's go over here an example. Act as a, what is loan officer? Right? It is the mask that we are putting on there, who is approachable, professional, and educated. That's that tone of voice, right? A little bit of background context. And their main objective is to close as many loans as possible. Great, more background context. That's our goal. And then we move into the next part, which is the task definition. This is ultimately what you want the large language model to perform. And in this case, we wanted to write a follow-up email for those that attended an open house over the weekend, highlighting the financial opportunity in home ownership. So again, that task definition is the actual question or task that you want the AI platform to perform. And there's a bunch of task categories out there. You can ask it to explain things to you, describe things to you. Can you write this email? Can you create this email campaign? Can you update this? Can you rewrite this? Can you translate this from English to Spanish? Can you summarize this? I use the summarize one a lot. Those of you that know me from MBS Highway, you know that we come out with a morning update video every single morning. And honestly, the first couple hours of my day are spent reading the different newsletters that come out. And there's this one guy, David Rosenberg. I don't know how he does it. He's a smart man. I'll give him that. But every morning he comes out with, on average, a 42-page newsletter that we are expected to read through and understand and pull pieces out. So you know what I've done? I have incorporated ChatGPT to help me. I have it summarize it and pull out and focus on particular areas that would be applicable for loan officers and real estate agents, or that could impact the markets. And from there, it makes it a lot easier because I know then at that point in time, the different segments that we could potentially pull for our morning update video, and I can go read that in depth versus reading this whole 42-page article. Now, role play. How many of you have been, maybe wanting to do business with a different type of referral partner? Maybe not just agents, but you want to get in with financial advisors or divorce attorneys, but you've never done it before, and that can be scary. Well, go to ChatGPT and role play until you feel comfortable and confident, and then get out there and do it. You can also ask it to predict things and advise you on things as well. So those are all the different task categories. But the thing is that ChatGPT does have its limits. And these pictures right here are not actually associated with ChatGPT. This is associated with Gemini, Google's Gemini. But in there, users were asking questions, if I'm going through a hard mental time, what should I do? And the platform said, you know what, you should just eat rocks. Oh, and you know what, if you want to keep cheese on your pizza, you can put glue on there, edible glue, and you're good to go. Now, obviously, these are really terrible answers, but you have to understand that these large language models, they don't understand when they're lying and when they're not telling the truth, because ultimately, at the end of the day, they're just taking a look at their knowledge base, and that's how they're coming up with an answer. And in this instance, its knowledge base, or where it was pulling these answers from, was Reddit threads. This is what users were telling other users to do. Obviously, not a good idea, but let's remember that ChatGPT doesn't know when it's lying. And so it's really important to get in there and check all of the information. Again, don't just copy and paste things. And if you are going to use, again, like an article to write a video script like we went over, make sure that you have read it, that you know it, you understand it, and you trust the source that you're ultimately utilizing. Now that you can also upgrade to the paid version. They have a couple different paid versions. I would say no one needs to do anything more than the $20 a month service. But in that one, you have a little bit more kind of security in there. You can go in and click, hey, I don't want you to, remember our conversations for your learning purposes. And that would be another little security measure that you can ultimately utilize amongst other things. But all in all, let's just understand that these platforms are not perfect. They do have their limitations. And as I mentioned, there's all different models here on ChatGPT, and there's even more than this. There's the O3 mini now. There's all different options out there. They're all a little bit different. I would just say don't worry about it, but what is a fun exercise is to, once you have crafted your prompt, go into the different models and even different platforms. Maybe you want to go play around in DeepSeek or Gemini, but take that same prompt and utilize it throughout the different models and platforms, because then you'll really start to learn and understand how all of these things are different and the different outputs that they're going to get. And through time, you'll kind of have a model or a platform that you like to use for specific things based off of that learning. I love this quote by Sydney Harris. She says, "The real danger is not that computers will begin to think like men, but that men will begin to think like computers." I think that this is really important to state, because these AI platforms are not meant to do your job. Remember, they're there to be a tool. Let's not rely on them to do everything. But we have to understand that, again, they're a tool, and we can utilize them, and we can get things done quicker. We can get more things done, and oftentimes in higher quality as well. Now, we've mentioned some things that you can do on the business side, but let's remember the whole point of utilizing this AI technology is so that we can get back to experiencing the things that AI is never going to be able to do. And I love to use AI to help me ultimately become a better human. And here are some ways that you can do that. So let's say you're going to the gym. Do you have a plan when you go into the gym? If you don't, ChatGPT is going to be your new friend. So I can come in here and I can say, and for those of you that don't know, back in the day, I used to be a personal trainer. So your prompt might look a little bit different than this, but I came in and I said, can you write me a 40-minute push workout? When I was a certified trainer, I was NASM certified. So I always like to pull that in here. Follow NASM resistance training protocols, and I want heavy focus on medial shoulder and upper pectoral. Now, yours might be different. It might be, I want a 50-minute workout, upper body, and I have a shoulder injury. I can't lift anything above my head. Great. It's going to come out and it's going to give you a workout. And you can keep building upon this. Maybe you go back in there and you let it know the weights that you did, and then ask it to create your next workout. This can basically become your personal trainer. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to be able to sit there and yell at you, but that's what we have friends for, right? Then we have this prompt. There was a time period where I was really punishing myself. Now, I was going through some health stuff and I really wanted to learn my body a bit more. So I cut out all major allergens and I was really hungry. I go to the fridge, I open it, and I'm like, I'm not eating dairy. I'm not eating sugar. I'm not eating anything fun at that point in time. So I'm like, okay, I'm not eating dairy or gluten right now, ChatGPT. I would love a fresh salad dressing recipe. I have limes and cilantro. What can I do? It gives me a salad dressing recipe. And I got to tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. After this, I don't even see the point in buying salad dressing anymore. It was incredible. And then this one, let's say that your wife has been complaining because you've been working too hard. Well, you can go to ChatGPT and say, my wife has been complaining that we never spend time together anymore. Can you help me plan date night? I have 4 hours in length. I want it to be super romantic. She loves good food and wine, and we live in New York City. Great. It's going to plan you out an entire date night. You can tell it, you can keep mitigating this and tell it, specifically where you are in New York City. It will give you options and you can completely continue to customize it from here. And those are just a few ways that you can ultimately use ChatGPT to help you be a better human. But let's remember, team, at the end of the day, what Robert Greene said. He said, the future belongs to those who learn more skills and combine them in creative ways. Now, my hope for you today is that this webinar inspired you a little bit, that it inspired you to get curious about what is this AI technology and how can I ultimately utilize it. And with that, I think that we have some time. So if you guys are okay with that, I would love to dive into ChatGPT a little bit.
Go.
All right. Let me share my screen here. All right. So the first thing that I want to share with you guys, we'll just cover a little bit of basics. So this is ultimately a chat window, right? So this is what you're going to see when you log in. This is where you are going to put the prompts that we went over. And again, if you texted Megan to 33777, you will get those prompts and you can simply copy and paste them and ultimately follow along. Now you'll notice as you get going through here, you're going to have a bunch of, different chat windows. These are all different ones that I've done. Depending on what you're doing, you're going to want to open a new chat window, depending on the task. Like I don't want to do everything in one chat window. I don't want to have it create an email campaign for those that attended the open house and help me craft a video script. And, you want to keep a specific task in a specific chat window because it's going to remember everything that you gave it. So for all of those different instances and exercises that we went through, you're going to want to open up a new chat window every single time. But I wanted to share with you guys Canva and how to ultimately do that process to create the static content very quickly. And so this is inside Canva. And I'm going to go to templates here. And we are going to do the home buying tips, right? So I just like to type in tips here and it's going to pull in all the different templates that we might ultimately want to utilize. And let's say I really like this one. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to customize this. Now, it will take some time for you to pull in your brand colors, your brand fonts, and everything like that. But you don't even have to do all of that right now. So we like this layout. Okay. So from there, we're going to come over, we're going to click apps here and we're going to click bulk create. From here, we're going to upload the data. So we've already gone to ChatGPT at this point in time. We've asked it to create the 10 tips for first-time homebuyers. We've saved it as a CSV file. And now we're just going to find it here. All right, so we are going to pull this in now. And now all we have to do is we just have to link the data. So I'm going to take the tip right here, and we are going to connect that to the mistake topic. And then I'm going to take this one and I am going to connect this to the description. I'm going to hit continue. In this case, I have 15 designs. I'm going to click generate, and literally in a matter of seconds, we are going to have 15 pieces of content done. Now, it's not perfect. We are going to have to come in here and kind of resize a few things or drag it around. But I mean, in 2 seconds, we have now, but it'll take you maybe 5 minutes. In 5 minutes, you'll be able to create, at the end of the day, 15 pieces of content. It is that easy to do. Ooh, we lost my video, but I'm still here. And for that, I want to open it up for any.
You're back.
Yeah, I am back. I am back. I want to open it up for any particular questions that there may be.
So Megan, number one, that was amazing. That was absolutely amazing. I know you covered an awful lot. And the message that I think we want everyone to realize is a couple of things. Number one, we are so fortunate to be living at this moment in time, to be this curious and be at the beginning of this. I mean, I know that pretty much everyone that's watching this, whether it's live or replay, at the beginning of the internet, we were either too young, not born, whatever, right? Like we weren't part of that moment when the internet was first coming out, right? Well, here we are at this moment in time when AI is rapidly growing faster than the internet took off, right? And we have that ability to apply it to what we do, how we serve. And I love the concept that you said, don't take this as, you know, you're just utilizing it for the purpose of work, which of course we are. It's also to make us a better human and to allow us to savor those special moments in time that we can have that isn't part of the work side. So having that curiosity and using those examples, and we were speaking about this before we went live, I can't live my life right now without AI. I can't. I use it every single day in every single way. I couldn't possibly imagine without it. So for everyone out there, of course, you heard Megan's call to action. You certainly want to utilize, you know, getting the information that she shared, utilizing her as a resource, and of course, using, you know, BAB and using WMN to ask those questions and to come together. And I know that sometimes when new things come out, people are afraid to ask questions because you're like, well, I'm not as savvy, or am I going to look silly? Absolutely not. The only silly question we all know is the one that isn't asked. So we want everyone, this is your starting point. These are the conversations that need to happen, because as we get better, everything explodes beyond that, right? So Megan, we thank you so much for sharing your insights, for enlightening us, for showing us the simplicity of this and how it can be applied in every way. Because it's not just marketing, right? It's not just video scripts. It's every single new direction, right? So thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your insights. Please, everyone out there, make sure that you take advantage of that call to action. And next month, please be sure to join us, because we will be focused in on, it is International Women's Month, the month of March. So we will be focused in on having a team coming on to really focus in on the female buyer, the single female buyer. We know how fast that particular demographic is growing. And please stay tuned for information on that session. And we wish everyone a wonderful day. Thank you, everyone.